Vanessa Cole wasn't supposed to be in Savannah for long. Just a quick trip for a summit, a few handshakes, a keynote speech, then back to Washington. But fate had other plans. She stepped off the plane with quiet confidence, unaware that within hours, her name would be whispered across city blocks and splashed across headlines. Not for her accomplishments, but for a confrontation that would peel back the polished surface of Savannah and expose something far more insidious, a T-30. Vanessa was the CEO of Caltech, a rising defense tech company contracted by the federal government. She was sharp, strategic, and absolutely untouchable, at least in the circles that knew her. But that morning, dressed in a light blue blouse and black slacks, walking alone through cobbled streets under a canopy of Spanish moss, she looked like just another tourist. That illusion would cost someone dearly. She could have taken a car. Instead, she chose to walk. She wanted to feel the city, to breathe its charm firsthand. The old homes, the street musicians, the pastel awnings of coffee shops. It all looked picture perfect. But Vanessa, raised in Baltimore, trained by life to detect what wasn't said, noticed the shadows beneath the smile. A woman clutching her purse a little tighter. A store clerk's greeting that felt strained. Eyes that lingered a second too long. Still, none of that fazed her. She had stood in boardrooms full of doubters, signed billion-dollar contracts in rooms where no one expected her to belong. Savannah, for all its beauty, was no different. She was here to lead, to represent, to be unshakable. She ducked into a small cafe, Savannah Bean, and ordered a sweet tea. No fanfare, no assistance, just a woman on her own. The cashier said little. Vanessa didn't mind. She took her drink to the patio, found a shaded bench, and settled in, letting the soft hum of the city lull her into a brief, stolen peace. What she couldn't see, was a police cruiser parked just a block away. Officer Blake Tanner leaned forward in his seat, narrowing his eyes at the woman on the bench. His hand hovered near his radio. Unit 12. Possible match for prior suspect near Magnolia and 6th, he murmured. His partner, Officer Cindy Bricks, looked at him sideways. What prior suspect? She asked. We haven't had any calls. There was a report earlier, he said flatly. No formal complaint yet. Dispatch came through. Proceed with caution. Confirm ID before taking action. Cindy looked uneasy. She had worked with Tanner long enough to know when he was improvising. You sure about this? She asked. He said nothing, just cracked his knuckles and started the engine. Vanessa sipped her tea, checking the time. 2 hours until the summit. Her speech was ready. Her message, about fortifying cyber defense through partnerships, was rehearsed to perfection. But her presence here was more than professional. It was personal. Every step she'd taken in life had led her here. And nothing, no stare, no smirk, no badge was going to intimidate her. Tanner pulled the cruiser forward and parked half a block ahead. He stepped out, adjusting his belt like he was preparing for battle. Cindy stayed in the car, jaw tight that he didn't call out to her. Not yet. He stood by the door, arms crossed, letting silence do the heavy lifting. Vanessa, still unaware, stood up to leave. That's when he moved. He lunged forward, grabbed her wrist, and twisted her around in one swift motion. Vanessa let out a startled gasp. Her drink spilled. Her bag hit the ground. He pushed her against the hood of the patrol car, the metal hot beneath her blouse. What are you doing? Someone yelled. A small crowd had begun to gather. Cindy was already out of the car, rushing over. Blake, let her go. She hasn't done anything. She fits the description, Tanner barked, already reaching for his cuffs. No, she doesn't, Cindy said firmly, stepping between them. This is wrong. Suspect is resisting, Tanner said into the radio. She's not resisting. Cindy shouted that Vanessa's breath came fast, her pulse hammering. She knew if she panicked, if she screamed, it would be twisted against her. She had been in combat simulations more nerve-wracking than this. But nothing prepared her for the helpless fury she felt in that moment. My name is Vanessa Cole, she said, voice sharp and clear. I'm the CEO of Caltech. I am here on government business. Tanner's hands froze. The crowd fell silent. Cindy blinked. Wait, Vanessa Cole. From the edge of the crowd, A teenager raised their phone higher. They had been recording since Tanner stepped out of the cruiser. The tension crackled. Tanner's eyes darted from Vanessa to the phone to Cindy. Something shifted in the air, like the moment before a storm breaks. And then, a voice came through Cindy's radio. Unit 12, hold position. Immediate halt ordered. Federal contact identified. Vanessa turned her head slightly, her voice like ice. You just made a mistake you can't walk back. And Tanner, still gripping the cuffs, didn't yet realize this was only the beginning. Vanessa stepped up to the podium, eyes scanning the packed press room at City Hall. Microphones crowded in front of her like curious serpents. Cameras rolled. The air was electric, pulsing with anticipation. She adjusted her torn blouse, now pinned shut beneath a blazer someone had loaned her, and drew in a breath that tasted like steel and fire. My name is Vanessa Cole, she began. I'm a federal contractor. I was assaulted by Officer Blake Tanner in broad daylight. You all saw it. A murmur ran through the room. Some reporters leaned closer. Others nodded solemnly. Vanessa gripped the podium tighter. This wasn't just about me, she said. It was about every person ever stopped, searched, humiliated, just for existing. Today, you witnessed a truth we've lived in silence for too long. From the corner, Captain Walker watched, arms folded, jaw tight. Beside him, Cindy Bricks stood stiffly, her uniform pristine but her conscience worn. Vanessa's voice grew sharper. Officer Tanner tore my blouse in front of dozens of witnesses. He called me a liar. He tried to twist my identity into a threat. And if not for the people with cameras, he would have gotten away with it. A hand rose from the press. Ms. Cole, what do you want to see happen now? She didn't pause. Justice. And not just for me. I want a full investigation into Officer Tanner's past conduct. I want oversight. I want the silence to stop. Cameras flashed. Reporters scribbled. Another asked, do you plan to press charges? Vanessa nodded. Yes, I will. And I'll use every legal avenue available to hold him accountable. As the press conference continued, her words rippled beyond Savannah. By nightfall, national networks aired the footage. Her name trended across platforms. Civil rights lawyers reached out. Protesters gathered outside the precinct where Tanner had once strutted with impunity. Behind closed doors, Walker met with the mayor and internal affairs. She's right, he said. This isn't isolated. Tanner has had complaints. None followed through. The mayor sighed. Then we follow through now. Meanwhile, Vanessa sat alone in a quiet office upstairs, hands wrapped around a cup of untouched tea. Cindy entered, hesitant. I'm sorry, Cindy said softly. Vanessa looked up. For what? For not stopping him sooner. For being silent when I should have spoken louder. Vanessa studied her. Then speak now. Back me up. Say what you saw. All of it. Cindy nodded. I will. He's not going to drag us all down with him. Outside, the protests swelled. People lit candles. Signs read, Justice for Vanessa. We saw everything in the silence. That evening, Walker approached Vanessa again. He's been suspended. Internal affairs starts tomorrow. Not good enough, she said. He looked at her steady. Then we keep going. 3 days later, Vanessa testified in front of the city council. The footage played behind her as she spoke. The council chamber was so quiet you could hear breathing. When the clip ended, with Tanner's hands on her blouse and her defiant voice into the camera, the silence broke into a standing ovation. Cindy followed, giving her statement. He lied. She didn't resist. He escalated everything. By the end of the week, Tanner was arrested for assault and misconduct. The department launched a public review of use of force complaints. Walker personally appointed a civilian oversight board. Vanessa was asked to join it. She didn't answer right away. She needed space. Needed breath. Savannah had cracked open. And with it, so had she. One evening, she returned to Forsyth Park. The breeze was gentle, the grass damp from rain. People walked, jogged, pushed strollers. Ordinary life reclaiming its rhythm. A woman approached. Older, soft eyes. You don't know me, but I watched your video, she said. Thank you for standing up. For not letting them silence you. Vanessa smiled faintly. I almost didn't. But you did, the woman said. That matters. Afterward, Vanessa sat on the same bench where it all began. She sipped the sweet tea she never got to enjoy that day. The park felt different now. Not safer, not healed, but awake. Her phone buzzed. Another interview request, another headline. She ignored it. For the first time in days, she listened to the wind, the rustling leaves, the quiet voice inside that whispered, "You did not break. You endured." Justice, she realized, wasn't a verdict. It was the decision to stand, even when your voice trembled. That night, Vanessa began drafting a speech. Not for the cameras, not for the council, but for the young girls who would come after her. Girls who might one day be told their voice was too loud, their presence too much, their identity too inconvenient. She would tell them the truth. You are enough. Speak anyway. And in that truth, she knew, lay the beginning of something bigger than any one moment. The story wouldn't end here. Not this time.